Basically, a lot of games get put out, a lot of VR games get put out, a lot of video games come out in general every single week. And what ends up happening is, without like the marketing or the advertising behind it and good word of mouth, they just die. Me being a bit of a VR enthusiast, I wanted to spotlight all these games, whether they're good or bad. We're gonna watch these trailers. I have not screened any of these trailers at all, so if they're good, great. If they're bad, you know, we get a good laugh out of it, make a couple jokes, and we move on. Dead Second is an action arcade cover shooter featuring a dead second bullet time reaction system with high fidelity impact physics reactions. Experience intense shootouts and gunplay unlike any game before it. How long? That felt way longer than it was. That was only 1 minute 5 seconds. It's a weird title to look at when you watch the trailer, because graphically, like the models, like the size, the guns, the hands, all that looks super clean. And then the enemies are low poly, and it just kind of throws it off a little bit. Like, it hurts the aesthetic almost when it feels like the enemies themselves are almost unfinished, whereas the rest of the environment, just look at these screenshots, the rest of the environment looks really good. So Symphony of Motion, an innovative musical playground that turns your motion into music, featuring a large selection of motion reactive synthesizers, multi-pitch drum and melodic percussion pads, a built-in looper, and a drum kit builder that will keep you jamming for hours on end. I'm curious why it's in square aspect ratio for a Steam game. $13.49 is 10% off as an introductory offer. You already, if you've been here before on these Friday streams, you know my rant about I don't think any early access game should cost more than $10. I'd be curious what else they would improve on it, because graphically it looks fine for what it is. Maybe they just add more content to it. I'm not sure. Oathbreakers is a multiplayer fantasy VR RPG that incorporates a unique blend of strategic, precision-based, real-time action combat with unrestricted player versus player competitiveness in a relaxing survival RPG themed environment. Apologize, I did not realize that trailer was that loud. There's that model again. I see it in so many games now. That little gremlin, that little demon model. Okay. All right, I try not to drag these too much, but this one I have an issue with. There's a lot that stuck out to me right away, and let's just kind of scroll through the trailer. Something being low poly, that doesn't bother me as much when the whole setup is low poly. Like Dead Second was different, where the environments were like super clean and polished, but then the enemies were low poly, like that blocky type. So this is the spot where you hit the training dummy. Did you see how the sword just clipped right through it and it doesn't even register that you hit? That's something that I feel like gets added into games later down the line as, I forget what the term is in development terms. I think collider is the correct thing. And then you saw it again with the enemies. Like when he hits this fox or dog, see I just kind of clipped right through? Yeah, come on. That kind of stuff right there makes it look, I'm trying to figure out the right term. Unfinished, I think, is the best word for this. This looks like a game that probably would have come out 6 months from now, as opposed to being out now. And I'm curious if a lot of developers are kind of leaning on that early access thing to get the game out there and hopefully try to make some money off of it so they can continue working on it. And I know there's a whole business use case for that. I'm very well aware of that. But I think putting out something like this, if this is not intended to be your end product, hurts. And the other thing, okay, so these enemies. Oh, so that guy, this guy right there, and that guy right there, this guy. I have seen this little goblin guy in so many games lately. And it brings up an interesting point. When I was on a 3-pound developer stream a while back, and we were talking about like assets from the Uni store that get reused a lot. I've seen this in so many games now lately that mentally I'm starting to write off any game that includes this asset, because this is a free asset. It's one of the first things you get, first hits you get on the Uni store. To see that specific enemy repeat so many times, just in games I've played, and probably another dozen or so trailers that I've watched, is starting to turn me off a little bit. Do you give them a pass if they're small budget devs, or do you think there are better approaches than settling for free assets? Okay, that's a very interesting question. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that I get it. Anything free is better than spending money. A lot of these developers play a lot of games before they start working on stuff. And I have to think that they've seen this in other places. Like, I can't think that they just went in cold and went to the first page of Union Store and went, ooh, no one used this. Do you think there are better approaches than selling for free assets? It's not a matter of free assets. It's a matter of just trying to differentiate your content from other people. And it might be that the developers don't know because they're not doing what I'm doing, which is playing a ton of games. But it's getting really noticeable as I go through Steam every week seeing that. In Hide and Crab, you play as a crab on Crustacean Island. Hide and Crab has VR movement inspired by Gorilla Tag. Be a crab in Hide and Crab. I have seen... okay, let's just watch the trailer. Let's just watch the trailer. Oh, and this framing too. This isn't me. This is the trailer. This is the recording. That grass is another free Unity asset. That bottom layer right there, I've seen that over a dozen games now. The frames, kids, the frames. Why is there a ship floating? Oh, that's supposed to be water? Oh, that's supposed to be water? Oh, no. Yes, Ronan, it's free. Is this the whole trailer? Tell me this is not the whole trailer. No, we have another minute to go. Or maybe, because you got to be kidding me. Hold on. I'm going back a minute. So we're zooming away. This has to be a troll job. This has to be a troll job. Are you really gonna make someone sit? There's 34 more seconds of this. What? What? Where are the crabs? There's one crab right there and it never moves. And you just zoom out to your brown sphere. That might have been one of the worst trailers we've seen. Moss 2 released on Steam yesterday.
There's no turning back now. Or so the saying goes. You've come too far on this journey. A million moments of calm and chaos. Of triumph and heartbreak. It all led you to this.
The warden.
When the fear within threatens to consume you.
What a great boss fight this
It's
was.
the real heroes who do turn back. To see the ones who stand behind them. Who give them the strength to achieve the impossible.
I can't say enough about this game. This Moss 1 and 2 should be required playing. And there's no excuse now because now it's on PCVR. So anyone who has a headset can play both of these games. These should be required playing. They're fantastic. They're like the gold standard of platform games. And I thought Moss was the gold standard. And then Moss 2 came out. It's like, nope, we're going to do everything better. Requisition VR is an action survival shooter designed specifically for VR with insane crafting mechanics and the ability to make traps to fight hordes of zombies. Become a survivor of a zombie outbreak in a single or four-player co-op mode to stay alive in an apocalyptic, oh god, an apocalyptic world.
Welcome to Nevermont, the most calm and peaceful city. Well,
Thanks, Ronan.
it was one day. Now it's a total mess here.
I never saw that fat zombie.
Those who did make it through most definitely can call themselves pretty badass survivors. But how did they survive that long without guns?
So I'll say right now, this is totally pre-alpha. Like, that's actual gameplay right there. This is gameplay.
You can craft improvised weapons as you have endless crafting possibilities. Work as a team to make barricades, traps, and share loot with each other. You can revive teammates while others have your back. There are 4 different game modes in Requisition. Play story mode if you want to know more about the game lore and have fun exploring Nevermont. Deathwatch is a 4-player PvP mode. Within a certain amount of time, you need to hunt for guns and gear to help you survive. The person with the most amount of kills at the end of the round will be the winner.
What are you talking about, Rain? It's right there.
It's a training location that can mostly be used to learn the game without tons of zombies trying to kill you. Horde mode is where you fight zombie waves trying to survive as long as possible.
I love this guy's voice. Horror mode.
Welcome to Nevermont, the most dangerous and zombiest city.
We played this last week, and in my honest opinion, there was quite a bit of jank in it. The hands would kind of float above objects instead of actually grabbing the objects. The game got really framey when there were too many things on screen, but part of that was my quest was at 20% at that point. We had some frame issues there. Everyone agreed that it was janky, but it was a lot of fun. We had a blast the whole time through. So I think with friends, this is a lot of fun. I question how fun it would be by yourself with some of the control issues. Some of the grab boxes were a little bit off, things like that. The game is in early access, so hopefully they can work all that stuff out. Again, the quest version doesn't come out until late next year, so which tells me that I don't even think the final version on Steam comes out for a year. I think they put it in early access now, maybe to probably raise some funds. Yeah, this is not something that, having played it, I would play by myself. I would absolutely need to squad up and play with some friends. And then we got Deathwatch Prelude. This is the last one. You've been tasked to observe supposedly haunted locations. Observe and log paranormal activity or paranormal events and use the tools at your disposal to gather data on any potential paranormal threats and exterminate them if necessary. Kind of felt like FNAF. Yeah, but I mean, the description gives phasmophobia, and then you get into there, and it feels like you're playing FNAF. That is the new VR release for the week. Obviously, Moss 2 is a winner there. Requisition VR is something that I had a lot of fun playing. So we got two. And Dead Second. Dead Second is a game that it's definitely something you want to follow. So we got 3 out of like 8 trailers this week that are worth following up on. So that's actually pretty damn good.